Welcome to Behringer Talks, the show where we answer questions that you, our customer, has using our 50 years of industry knowledge and expertise. So lately we've been focusing on Behringer values, and to reiterate our value number 5, we improve our skills continually to enable us to serve our customers, community, and each other. We adapt to the changing needs of the business. In support of this, I've asked my colleague Catherine if she would be willing to answer a few questions. Recently, she read a book called Can't Hurt Me. She highly recommends this, so I want to share with our listeners exactly why she recommends it and to learn more about the book. Catherine, thank you for being on today. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about Can't Hurt Me. I know you mentioned this the other day in the office. You had started reading this book, and I was curious to learn more about it. So could you give me just a brief summary of what the book was about?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Britt. Super excited to be on Behringer Talks. This is my first podcast. So David Goggins, who is the author of this book, has been on one of my favorite podcasts a few times, and he speaks with such passion behind his voice, and he has the most insane stories. So I wanted to learn more about where he came from and his path to where he's on now. So it's a book about overcoming adversity in every aspect of your life. It's all about rooting for the underdog. It's a true story about a man, David Goggins, who came from nothing and had a very difficult upbringing, and he trained himself to basically use all of his failures and struggles to fuel him and allow him to accomplish things that don't seem physically possible. So all through the book, he brings up this concept of mastering the mind. And if you're able to do that, what kind of doors it can open for you.
So when you say physically overcome, did he happen to get injured or something and he had to figure out a way to live his life differently, or what happened to him?
There are, countless examples that he gives throughout the book. One that really stuck with me is he ran a 100-mile run with no training. And through that, he was running on broken legs. It was in extreme heat, and that was one that really stuck with me. But there are numerous examples of just physical challenges that he overcame throughout his life.
Okay, cool. So more mind over matter sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you just mentioned about him overcoming physical capabilities to run. Do you think that was the most significant thing you learned from the book, or what do you think was the most significant thing?
I think the thing that probably stuck with me the most in the book is that you can't settle or accept success once you achieve what you've been striving for. So Goggins became a Navy SEAL, he became an Army Ranger, he was a frequent Ironman athlete, he broke the record for over 4,000 pull-ups in 24 hours, and he still has such a thirst for greatness. It's almost like he forgot everything he just did, and he starts with a clean slate every single day. And his dedication is really contagious and inspiring to me. And if you want something bad enough, there's no excuse that will hold up to explain why you're not capable of achieving that.
I love that. So that, to me, sounds like that's how it kind of changed you, or it changed your views, is looking at the problem and not seeing, I guess, the problem as a complication or trouble, but you see it as an opportunity to do better, be better, so on and so forth. So that's really cool. You mentioned David Goggins overcoming a lot of physical challenges in his life. Are you particularly a sports person, or are you really athletic person? Did that kind of resonate with you because you're more of a physical person?
Yeah, I've played sports growing up all my life. I played field hockey, softball, basketball, you name it. Had 3 brothers, so kind of had to do whatever they were doing in the backyard. Right now, I try to work out 5 times a week. I run, I lift, I try to challenge myself physically. I think it's definitely good for your mental health, and I am a strong believer in working out. So I think that's a great point that probably did resonate with me, those physical challenges, because I have seen that before in my life where you have to push yourself to be the fastest on the field and compete with whoever's next to you, and you have to be able to know that your greatest competitor should be yourself.
So how do you think this book positively affected you and your role at Behringer?
Yeah, so I guess how it would affect my work life is the whole book is about work ethic. I mean, it's what you do when no one's watching you, wiping that slate clean, like I mentioned before, as you accomplish something and pushing yourself to strive for whatever the next thing might be. And I really like that Goggins emphasizes that your biggest competitor should always be yourself, and you're trying to get 1% better every single day, no matter if that's reducing distractions at work or getting an extra mile in on your run. You can't grow unless you're continually pushing yourself through these challenges, which is something that no one wants to hear, but it's really the only way, is to leave your comfort zone.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. So with Behringer and innovation, you don't just want to settle on something that you created, a couple years ago. You want to keep advancing, keep innovating, so that the patients get better care, so that surgeons have better options, whomever is using it at the actual hospital. And I'm assuming that obviously will help with new business development, which is what you're involved in.
Right, definitely. It's like you can't settle once you get that product that takes off and fulfills all the needs. You have to keep looking for the next thing, especially as procedures are evolving and devices are evolving. You have to kind of stay at the top of that food chain at all times.
And what would you say to persuade a coworker to read this book?
So he has these challenges after every chapter of the book. So there's about 10 of them. And he really encourages you during these challenges to dig deep in yourself and face your fears. And I would say if you're someone that's looking to get out of your comfort zone and start testing yourself and figuring out how you can better yourself, it's a great read. It's all about mastering your mind, which is something that I've always found really fascinating. So if that's something that interests you as well, I would definitely recommend reading it.
Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to speaking with you about more books I'm assuming you're reading in the future. So this has been great. I appreciate it. Thanks, Catherine.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Britt.